Welcome back to Love Park Connection, where we talk about the pains and pleasures of life, love, and relationships. My name is Angela Parker.
And I'm Pierre Parker.
We are a husband and wife marriage and relationship coaching duo. We've been married 27 years and together over 30 years. And
Yep.
it's our goal to help Black couples communicate more, love more, and build healthy long-term relationships. So thank you so much for joining us. Today, we will be discussing self reflection and self awareness and how it can impact your current or future relationships. And today, we will be talking to a really good friend of ours, Catrice Avery,
Yep.
about her own self reflection journey and how her journey has helped her. So let us introduce our guest, Miss Catrice Avery. Yay! Hey, love, how you doing? You're on mute.
Hi.
Hi.
Now we can hear you.
What's
Hey, love.
up? What's up? How you doing?
How you doing, lady?
I'm good. I'm good. How you doing?
Oh, we're good. We're good. You look beautiful.
Thank you.
So you know what we're going to discuss today. And the reason we chose you is because I know personally I've seen you transform over how long have we been really hanging tight? 10, 12, 15 years now? Has it been that long?
Yeah, no, it
It's
has.
Yeah.
It's been
damn. Okay.
it's been at least that long. It's because I was in Danville. Shoot, no, longer than that because I was in Danville before 2012. So
Okay. Yeah.
over 10 years.
Okay. Sounds 10 years. So, and I've
You're gonna make
seen,
me go search Facebook for our first run.
I know, huh? So, and I've seen you grow, from the time we first started running together and hanging out together until now. I mean, it's been a huge transformation. Not just in not just in your professional life, but even in your personal life. And that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
The transformation of where you were, where you've come, and how that's impacted your relationships.
Okay.
Because as we know, until we can really get to know who we are, it's really hard to build a healthy relationship.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your journey and we'll throw in some questions.
When you say which part of the journey you want to hear about?
So I want to hear about as far back as you feel comfortable going. Like I said, I know you from when we started running and what I saw there and how you've moved forward. And tell us about that journey. What made you decide to really start doing some deep work to get to where you are and how that's impacted your relationships that you previously had, up until, where you are now.
Okay, so I found it. It was 2010.
Okay.
I used Facebook as a marker because we're Facebook friends. So
2010. Okay.
So, but we really became tight a little after that. So, but
right.
We'll use Facebook as a marker. But, I think it all began when my marriage fell apart. I was a Stepford wife. I don't know. I mean, that's an old movie. It's an old movie that was redone with Nicole Kidman and Bette Midler, which was pretty funny. But a lot of people who knew me back then said I was a Stepford wife with 4 children because literally my house was spotless with 4 little kids. And they're like, how? But when my marriage fell apart, I was trying to be perfect. There is no such thing as being perfect. But I thought if I was perfect, he would love me. Didn't work. So when my marriage fell apart, and literally it just fell apart, I was broken. And then I was almost married for 22 years. That's a long time. Yeah. So then I was released to the single world. And then met someone, got engaged, tried to have another child. That fell apart. And then, I was pregnant. And that we weren't together. And truthfully, I was working on myself then too, but sorry, are you okay, doggy? My little dog. But the biggest catalyst was I had decided to keep that child. And even though we weren't together, and I was 45 at the time, and literally I said, okay, God, if I'm keeping this child, and his family didn't want me to have the child, they were treating me like I was trying to trap him. I was like, I raised 4 children. I can do this by myself. But I need a new job with benefits, new car, because I was driving in a bucket. I need a new job because I was driving an hour commute one way, and I need money in the bank.
Mhm.
He put money in my bank. I got a new car. And I actually went to have the ultrasound, and the baby had chromosomal defects.
Wow. Okay.
And that broke me.
Mhm.
So my son graduated from high school, and that weekend I was in Miami, and I shattered. Literally, a lot of people don't realize I shattered. Like you take a glass, I shattered, and I went into counseling because I couldn't put myself back together. And what I realized in all the relationships, the common denominator was me, because I was attracting unavailable men, emotionally unavailable men.
Okay.
And so the common denominator was me. And through therapy, somewhere in there, I was emotionally unavailable. And I'm like, I want love. How am I emotionally unavailable? And you hear the saying, no one can love you, unless you love yourself, no one else can love you. And I'm like, but that don't make no sense. But there's truth in that, as cliche it is, because if you don't love yourself, you don't respect yourself, you don't protect yourself, you don't like yourself, you don't do all those things. And I had to learn to do all those things. And so I started doing therapy, and it's a lot of work.
When did you start therapy? When exactly did you?
I was 45, so
Okay.
10 years ago. I started true therapy 10 years ago. But I mean, even before that, even when I was married, I read every self-help book, trying to fix myself for him. And it was never good enough. I tried to fix myself for my husband, trying to be the woman he wanted me to be. Never was good enough. And finally, I stopped caring and started doing the work for me.
Okay.
I started because he didn't like me. And finally I realized that. I was like, he married me to be married. And when I realized that, I was like, you don't like me, but I like me.
Okay.
So I started to like me. And when I started liking me, then you can start loving yourself. And so when I got divorced, I started dating myself. And I started doing things for me. And that's how you and I hit you up on Facebook, and you were talking about coaching, training people. And I said, well, can you train me how to run? And you and I started running, and we would talk. And she did it, because my first mile was like 22 minutes. I need to run. It's a walk. And I think the fastest I got was maybe just under 12 minutes, but we did half marathons and all of that. But all of that process, it just helped me evolve. And I'm totally different now than I was then. Completely different person, inside out. People who know me then are still amazed at, who are you?
Yeah. I had a question. So what were some of the things that he would, and this is for, other women that are probably listening, who may not understand the signs of, some of the things that he was doing to make you feel that way. What were just a few, not saying that you got to go into all of them, but just a few of the things, because like I said, it may be some other women that are in relationships and guys are probably doing some of those signs, but they don't understand it. You understand? You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. He belittled me. Things that I would do naturally, he would belittle me. Don't dress this way. Why do you walk that way? Why are you wearing what you're wearing? I have a walk. my grandmother said, you're going to walk like you own the ground that you walk on because I paid my taxes. And
I like that. I like that.
and if I didn't walk, let me see you, you know, that there's a tick. Let me see you walk.
Yeah.
I've been doing that since I was yay high to the sky, knee high, you know, and it's not just me. My cousins who my grandmother raised, we all do it. It is not just, it's ingrained in us. He would get mad, but that's who I am. I don't do it. You doing that for attention? No, I'm not. Why you dressed like that? You trying to get attention? No, I'm not. So I would I downplay how I look. I have a Coke bottle shape. I have hips. I have a behind. I don't know what my behind looks like. It's behind me. What do I know what it looks like? I can't see it. But he would get upset because I would draw attention to myself. I'm not trying. But he would say, you know, but one day I went to Walmart in men's pajama bottoms and a tank top.
Yeah.
No makeup on, barely brushed my hair, rushed out the house, and I still got hit on.
Yeah.
And I realized it don't matter what I look like. I'm gonna attract attention. It was not it was his insecurities. It wasn't mine. And it was stuff like that. And what I realized was he had his own issues. And when we got divorced, what I found out later was his friends were like, how'd you get her? They were teasing him like, how'd you get her? She too fine. How'd you get that? And instead of saying, yeah, she mine, he let that bother him. And I was like, you know, I would be excited to see him. And he'd be like, quit acting like a puppy peeing on yourself.
What? A puppy peeing on yourself?
Because I'm excited to see my man coming home and you gonna tell me. So then I would damper my spirit, be like, don't act like I'm excited to see him. You know, stuff that's naturally who I am. Like when I would be myself, he would ignore me and just belittle me and tear me down. So then when I would act like distant and quiet and aloof, which is not who I am, then he'd give me all this attention. That's not who I am. And then so now I'm changing myself and it's not natural. And then he would tear me down in front of the children. Don't be like your mama. And now I'm actually saying to my kids, don't be like me. And then finally I was like, well, why am I, hold up, what's wrong with me? And you take, that's verbal abuse. A person is supposed to lift you up. You are supposed to pour life into your partner and they're supposed to pour life back into you. Your partner, at least for me, is supposed to be your best friend. I should be able to talk to them about anything. And they should be able to talk to me about anything. At least that's what I want. I couldn't talk to him about anything. And he would tear me down to his friends. I mean, it just was, I mean, I hope nobody else has that situation, but it just, year 3, I saw an issue and I wrote him a letter year 7. And that same letter, I gave it to him year 10, year 15, year 17. And it was the same letter. And I'm like, I can't be in the relationship by myself.
Right.
Now,
go ahead. And then what I realized was the movie's old. It's called E.T. E.T. phone home. But anyway, but there's a scene in the movie where E.T. is dying.
Like that movie ain't old to us.
Right.
Yeah, I know. But there's a scene in the movie where E.T. is dying. And he's correlated to a plant. The plant is withering and the petals are falling off. I was dying. And I remember distinctly in my bedroom, and our house was a beautiful home. And I had friends telling me, and he worked hard for the family. We had a beautiful family, please know. It was predominantly white neighborhood, which I don't care. The kids were doing great. We ran a great family business. And my friends were like, he's never home. You could go get you a full-time man and he would never know. I didn't get married for that. But the house was so big, the kids was on the other side of the house. And that night, I literally was like, if I leave this room, I'm gonna go take a bottle of pills and not wake up.
Wow.
And what saved me is my second daughter came in the room. I don't know how she heard me. And she said, Mom, what's wrong? And that broke the spell. I literally was dying. And I said, I can't do this. I can't. And I didn't want my kids to think that this is how a man treats their wives.
Right.
Or my son to think that this is how a husband treats his wife. Because we didn't date. We didn't go out. We didn't do anything together. It just was a family business. There was no connection.
So how has from the time you've been married, divorced, and then dating, how has your transformation, your self-awareness of who you are now, how has that impacted your relationships, good, bad, or indifferent?
It's been a journey.
Yeah.
It's been a journey because even the relationship I got into where I shattered, I still took abusive behavior because I still didn't love myself. I said I didn't share, but I was like, I'm sharing, because when you.
Wait, what do you mean by you're sharing? What?
So
Back up.
Back up.
So that's what I was gonna get to. I'm not. So that's what I'm saying. When you are so busy getting crumbs, when you get table scraps, you feel like you're getting a full course meal. So I was getting crumbs in my marriage. So when I was getting table scraps, I was like, oh Lord, this is delicious. But you're not realizing you're still not getting a full course meal. So when I got out of my marriage and I got into a relationship, emotional affairs are still affairs. You're still sharing. And I'm a very sensitive person, and I got in a great relationship, so I thought. But I always told him, if I'm blue and you're yellow, we make green. If I'm yellow and you're blue, we make green. If you're blue and you are having an emotional connection with someone who's red, that means you're making purple. So when we connect, your purple with my yellow ain't making green no more. I don't know what color that makes, but it's different than green. And it feels different to me. And you've been connecting with somebody else that ain't your mama, your sister, or some woman that we're supposed to be with. But he thought I was, and I could feel that energy. I could feel other women's energy in his body. I could just feel it. But he didn't like that. He collected other women. He never let go of his past relationships.
Wow.
And that became verbally abusive as well. But because it was better than my marriage, because when he wasn't doing that, we connected, we talked, we had all the other things that I never got because it was table scraps, not crumbs. I'm like, well, it's better, but I still didn't love myself. I hadn't done the work. And then my therapist threw down, you need to let go all men energy and just be by yourself. I was like, huh? No men energy. What the? No. I fought that. I was like, I won't be by myself because I didn't think I wanted to be alone. Hell no. Baby, when you get completely disrespected, and I do mean completely disrespected, and you see the disrespect, you take that time. And I took that time. I took 2 years off of men.
Wow.
2 years off of men. And then I met someone who I thought was amazing, fell in love overseas in London, thought he was absolutely amazing. That didn't work out. And it wasn't, but because I loved myself, when it didn't work out, I let go. I let go.
Okay. Now, was it easier because you did love yourself, was it easier to let go of the London relationship versus the other ones? Or were they just, regardless of the self-growth, were they still, difficult?
So you see this art behind me?
Yes.
I became an artist because I let go.
Okay.
It wasn't easy.
Right. Okay.
But I poured it into something else.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, instead of calling him and texting him, and why don't you love me? It's called, I can't sleep, I can't eat, what am I gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
So I drew, can't sleep, let me do some art.
Yeah.
Okay.
I found an outlet, and my outlet became art, and now I'm an artist. I mean, that's the outlet. I mean, and now it became an artist, but that's what started it. Is I couldn't sleep. So what can I do? I don't want to call him. I don't want to bug him, because that's the old me. I want to do something different, because I don't need to be with him, but I still have these feelings. And it turned out, because people come into your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime.
I remember you told me that when I finished my competition, and we talked about the stuff that was going on, and you told me that, and that stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
And now when I look, when I'm in different relationships or find different friendships and they come and go, I remember that saying, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. People do come in for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, so what was this reason season with this man? Because I was like, I thought he was my forever.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But a year later, when a friend of mine passed away from pancreatic cancer, I reached out to his daughter saying, I know I'm not there, but if you ever need someone, I'm here. And his oldest let me know, the best thing my father ever did was introduce you to us, because you brought family back. You made him closer to his daughters, and you reconnected him to family, because I'm very family oriented. And so my purpose, because I used to say for a year, I was like, Lord, why did you do this to me? I don't understand. But it was because I was to reconnect him. He has 4 daughters and 2 sons.
Wow.
And I was like, I was to connect him to family.
Yeah.
And if that was my purpose, then it was worth it. But I did let go. And since him, I have not dated, and it's going on 3 years. Actually, I did 1 date, but I don't play. I did 1 date, and the man was like, yeah, no, I don't play, because I'm worth it. When you see your worth, you don't play.
Yeah.
Actually, I've had 2. And it was a business date, because y'all know about that business date. I don't play. I don't play. I mean, you really see your worth. You really just don't play. You see the red flags so quickly. It's just like, huh? What? Who you talking to?
Yeah.
I know Pierre, he gave you some advice. He's given a couple of women some advice on the 2-month rule. What do you think about the 2-month rule?
I have no problem with it. I got really good toys. I'm telling you, I mean, everybody laughs at me, but go get you some really.
Yes.
I say go get, because I'm sorry. I mean, my ex that I was talking about, because that's the other thing. I'll say it. I like sex. It's a wonderful thing. But you meet people, one, you don't know what they bring to the table, and then you might be disappointed. Like, that's all you got? You don't, it's all you got? Then I got to teach you. I ain't got time to teach you. That's it. You sleepy now? What? So there's that.
Hey.
I'm being for real. So you play a Russian roulette, like that's it.
Right.
Or you go back, because I did that too. You go back to what you know is good. And then it's like, you're not going home. I mean, what's the movie, 4 Brothers? The man says, you don't pay a hoe for sex, you pay a hoe to leave. That's real. I'm just saying, it's real. I mean,
are you still here?
Yeah, I mean, I've done that. I'm like, oh, it was wonderful. And then they still there. And I'm like, and in my head, I was like, I hate to have male behavior, but it's like, you're still here. They're not gone yet. And then you get into the many arguments as to why you're not still together, why you didn't get together in the first place, which messes up the whole high in the first place. Sorry. all money ain't good money, all dick ain't good dick. I'm sorry, it's just not worth it. So I was like, it's time to really go get me some really good toys. I mean, they got the rose, they got the snail, they got some really, I just gave
endorsing. Don't endorse
yes,
it.
they
You don't
need to
get
hire
paid.
me. They got some really good toys. I handle my own business, not a lot, because then you want real, I mean, it's not the same. So I just came to the point where it's not worth it because my body is precious.
Yes.
And although I don't need that energy inside of me anymore, I decided it's not worth it. If I decide to, it's my choice. But I'm also
Right.
a survivor of sexual abuse, sexual assault, and it's not worth it. It's just not worth it anymore.
Right.
If I decide to, it'll be my choice, but I have really good toys. So if I get to the point where I need something, I pour myself a lovely glass of wine. I have a romantic evening with myself.
And you pull out a little rubber Robbie and you good, huh?
I don't call him Rubber Robbie, but okay.
Okay, rubber Robbie.
I don't give it a name because it's not real. I'm just saying. And then I put it in the universe because then I have read that in another culture, I don't know if it's Japan or China, that they are afraid that they won't connect to human people because the artificial stimulation is so good. So then I was like, oh shoot. But then I was like, nah, because whoever I meet will do me better than what I have. So I'm like, cool, I'm gonna be good.
Okay.
Exactly. No,
Okay.
exactly.
So, that's where I'm at. It's just, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
No.
And I don't need any ties. I don't need soul ties.
Yeah. Now I have a question now with the guys, with each one of the guys. Was there similar traits in all of the guys that you found
that you were attracted to?
That you were attracted to, and that also that actually made them out to be, what they were, as far as, like, if they had similar traits as far as how they treated you, and that's what got you to the point to where you started saying, oh no, let me make some changes and get out of this situation. Did you find similar traits in all of them?
Yeah. Early on, it was emotionally unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
More recently is a mother wound.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest one is a mother wound.
The mother wound was for the guys.
The guys.
Mother wound. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
They all, and that's consistent with all of them. All of them have had mother wounds.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And predominantly, unfortunately, in the Black community, a lot of us have mother wounds.
So were all of them to you like kind of in the same vein?
Who?
And what I'm getting at, were they all like kind of in the same vein? So what I'm trying to see is, did you realize that you're attracted to this certain type of guy?
No, what it is I have a mother wound.
Mm.
A lot of times you are attracted to a person that you have to do work on in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it's a mirror reflection of what you need to work on. So I was attracted to emotionally available men because I was emotionally unavailable. Okay. So basically back then, literally I was sitting on a boat with my hands skimming the water and I didn't realize it.
Mm-hmm.
I have a mother wound. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm dealing with that. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, sex is a healing, is healing. Mm-hmm. Especially, and I will say this, especially for women who have high sex drives. Mm-hmm. And it's often, as I said, I'm a survivor of being molested as a child. Mm-hmm. And usually you either become very high sex drive or you become very low sex drive. But it's also been shown that people with high sex drives can be known as healers. Mm-hmm. And a lot of men are attracted to women or people. I don't want to generalize it, but a lot of people are attracted to people with high sex drives because there's a lot of healing in that and they don't even realize that. Mm-hmm. And I have been told by several men, there's something comforting about you. I just want to be around you. They've sought me out. When I look back, that's why. Mm-hmm. Okay. It's like a succubus. They just want to suck the energy out of me.
Okay. Wow. That's
So when I look back,
You do realize the succubus actually goes the opposite way, right?
I know, but I'm saying they succubus to me. I feel you, but I felt like they was doing it to me. I'm
It's
just
all
saying,
right.
I don't know what it's called on their end, but literally I have recognized that they have drained me of my energy.
okay.
They have come to me for healing, and then they've drained me of my energy.
Okay.
So that's why I'm very protective of who I give my energy to. Someone said something very powerful to me, that not everybody is worthy to sit at your table.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And I was like, whoa. And it's funny because I'm old school.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really old school. I don't approach men, approach me. You know, I don't go to men and say, hey, I want to ask you. Nah, y'all approach me. But when they said not everybody's worthy to sit at your table, that really stuck with me, because that's true. Any man who would approach me because I don't do the approaching, I felt I had to entertain. No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't. I was like, oh, finally someone spoke to me. I guess I got to entertain them. No, I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So if they approach me as like, oh, I got to entertain them. No, I don't.
So you mentioned something about when you were going through or going, and I'm assuming, are you still doing therapy?
Oh, so from 45 to 50, I did therapy for at least twice a month or every 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
At 50, I graduated. She graduated me, which was really cool.
Okay.
I didn't have to do therapy. We still stayed in touch. She's like an auntie. Then when my aunt passed away a couple of years later, and some stuff happened at work, I kind of threw a temper tantrum like a little kid. I was like, I can't do this. Although I was the matriarch in my family already, I still threw a tantrum. I was like, I can't do this. And she was like, what? So I went and put myself back in therapy just to help me, just to keep a balance.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm in therapy now just to stay healthy.
So define, because I know we've talked about this, when you're doing the deep work versus, what was the other one? You said what was the other terminology you used? When you're doing surface level.
Oh, surface level. When you're doing surface level, I mean, you can be doing some work when you're doing surface level, but when you're doing that deep work, that's that work where you sit with yourself and it don't feel good. Mm-hmm. It's that work where your inner child is kicking and screaming, and it's that grind. It's that grimy work. It's that I gotta go into the basement and clean the cobwebs and you don't like spiders kind of work.
So that's what I call when you go sit over there somewhere and go think about yourself, huh?
It's worse than that.
That's the heavy one.
Literally, I gotta go clean the basement. It's a hot freaking mess, and you don't like spiders, and there's cobwebs, and you gotta get dirty and grimy, and you gonna come back up and your hair is dirty. You got smut all over you. Mm-hmm. Your fingernails is nasty, and you gotta still go and get cleaned up because you got a party that you gotta look pretty for 2 hours later, but you know you gotta get filthy. It's that deep, nasty work. It's not just sitting with yourself. It's that deep, intense because we live in a fast food society. We want everything quick. We want, oh, fix me quick. No, I had to sit with myself. Mm-hmm. Because inside of everybody is a little kid. We still little kids inside. I don't care how old you are. There's still a little kid inside that somebody wounded, hurt. We all a little kid that's hurt. Mm-hmm. And I had to sit with the little kid inside of me and it's like, what's wrong with you? Who hurt you and why?
Mm. And how long did it take you from graduating from that surface level to?
Like I said, it took me 3 years for me to finally say, okay, I won't do the men and I won't date nobody.
Oh, okay.
Because that's when I really stopped. I mean, I was doing some work, mind you. But that's when she knew I was ready to do it because I didn't want to give up men. I was like, why can't I still date with, I want to still date. I don't want to be alone.
Yeah.
She's like, and it wasn't even 2 years. She said I needed to just do it. She was like 6 months, a year.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to do that. I did 2 years.
And how are you feeling now? I mean,
I'm doing it again, so I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and it's interesting because you find when I did it then, I mean, the COVID helped too. I mean, I won't say help. Because even now, what I found was we find our scapegoats. When I would go through stuff, my scapegoat was go to my friends, go out, hang out, distract myself. That's a distraction. Instead of sitting with it, what's wrong with you? Sitting in it, fix it. Not fix it, but deal with it.
Right.
I deal with it now.
Okay.
Or calling a bunch of people and talking here, talking there, talking there. I shut my circles down. That's the other thing, boundaries. I believe Black people have not been taught boundaries because of systemic racism. Master didn't teach us boundaries. There were no boundaries. You teach your children's boundaries. So if Master didn't teach us boundaries, Master cut off boundaries, we generationally didn't teach boundaries. I just learned boundaries a year and a half ago. So I know I didn't teach my children boundaries. So I am just now learning boundaries. So what I did was everybody, new people, old people had access to every part of me. Whereas new people just met me. You don't get full access to me. So no is a complete sentence. I don't need to explain stuff to you. I don't need to tell you my business. No was a complete sentence. I had to learn to set boundaries. So the men I dated, huge boundary issues. My ex-husband, huge boundary issues. My ex-fiance, huge boundary issues. So I had to learn. I mean, I have a bullseye, a metal bullseye. When I meet someone, they're on the outer circle. I have an inner circle of very limited people that I talk to, not everybody. And I still sit with myself. I can trust my wise self, but I had to learn that without distraction.
Oh, I like that. I can trust my wise self.
My wise self, yes.
Because we don't think about that. We don't trust ourselves.
But that's also systemic racism.
Makes sense.
I mean, I don't like to put it on that. My kids are like, Mom, you're always this, that, and the other. There's so much with that. But if you really think about it, we question our ability on what we do and move forward on how we do things. When a lot of times I know even if I fail, I've gotten this far. So if I fail, I'm still gonna get back up and I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna get back up and I'm gonna succeed in some shape or form, or I'm gonna figure it out, or I'm a whatever. Or if I need to ask for help, it's okay to ask for help because I got a key group of people who I can ask for help.
Exactly.
And if they can't help me, it's okay there too.
Yeah.
But I don't need somebody to be there for me. Whereas before, the old me was, I need a husband to do this for me. I need a man. And I don't need a man. I want a partner. I want a helpmate, a life partner.
Right.
Because I don't want to downplay that anyway, because whether they say Black women got a chip on their shoulder, I don't need a man. I don't want to do that either.
Yeah.
Because I want to lift my man up. I want him to feel like the king that he is. I want to be the queen to his king. But I don't ever want him to feel like he has to carry me, just like I don't want to carry him. But when he gets weak, I'm there. When I get weak, he's there. We are partners.
Exactly.
But that took a lot of work because I found out I'm very masculine.
Yeah, you can't be masculine with a man. You know what I'm saying? You can't have a man and still be masculine.
I get that. But when you are in a relationship, when I was married and he's gone all the time.
Well, yeah, then you have to.
And I got 4 children.
Yes.
And you don't want them to, I mean, people don't understand. You got 4 children. Technically, that's 4 to 1. They had to think crazy. I'm sorry, because I was like, at the end of the day, it's 4 to 1 of me.
Yeah.
They had to think mama was cool.
You need.
They had to think mama crazy.
They had to think mama was crazy.
Yep. That's what I used to tell some of my friends, that were single moms. I'd be like, look, you got a teenage boy, or you have a young son, you need to start instilling it now.
That think you crazy.
They can think that mama is crazy. That,
they'll tell you a story. Mom came outside with the baseball bat. That's how our house never got TP. They thought mama, this is Avery came out the street, chased us down the street with a baseball bat. I was crazy.
That's what I'm saying. They got to think that. They got to think my mama will kill me if I act a fool. If I act up, let me not act a fool. My mama.
But I mean, But do I know how to back down and let my man be a man? Absolutely.
Good.
Absolutely.
So what would your advice be to women out there who need to basically get down in that basement, like you were saying, get dirty, you really get in there? What would be some advice, especially like we're talking about self-reflection and relationships and how it impacts the relationships, positive and negatively? Mm-hmm. What advice would you give the women out there?
We all are intuitive. All people are intuitive. We all get the signs.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you've ignored the sign, you were like, man, I should have listened.
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
We all get those signs. So first of all, stop ignoring the signs. That's your wise self speaking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Sit with it. Sit with yourself. Mm-hmm. Get to know yourself. Date yourself. I know too many people are like, oh, I can't. How do you go to the movies by yourself? How do you travel by yourself? I'm like, huh? What? What do you mean travel by myself? What do you mean go to the movies by yourself? What do you mean go and take myself out to dinner? The first thing I did when I got divorced was I would take myself to dinner by myself. Mm-hmm. And I do mean dress up like I'm going out on a date. Now, I read a book while I was there. Who cares? But I took myself out to dinner and Sheila E. That's how I met my twin. One of my most favorite people is I took myself out to Sheila E. A dinner and a concert. Mm-hmm. Date yourself. Treat yourself the way you want to be treated. Mm-hmm. Get to know who you are. Write down the qualities of your dream partner and be extremely specific, especially nowadays. Mm-hmm. Because if you just write down the qualities and leave out heterosexual, blah, 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 you might get a person, you might get a woman, you just don't, you have to be extremely specific nowadays. You really do.
Right.
But you have to know who you are. And then cliche, love yourself.
Yes.
And that's hard. Mm-hmm. Because loving yourself means you have to like yourself, which means you got to respect yourself, which means you have to protect yourself, which means you have to defend yourself, and you won't put yourself in certain circumstances, mm-hmm. which means you'll listen to yourself. Okay. And that was the hardest part because I'm like, I am loving myself. And then I look back, no, I wasn't.
Mm.
And that's that deep work.
I mean, I have no more fuck bucks to give. I don't.
We know.
There's a TED Talk. It's 10 minutes long on YouTube about fuck bucks. That was life-changing for me because it was about a bank account where it's like, if you were to think of people in your life as a bank account with fuck bucks, would you spend it? And that was powerful for me because I was like, no, I wouldn't spend it. No, I wouldn't. I don't have that to give. And that helped me because I'm a natural people pleaser. And I was like, oh, I don't want to cause a rift. Oh, I don't want to cause a rift. Mm-hmm. Rifts who? I mean, being over 50 helped too, because I really just don't care.
Yeah,
once you hit 50, it's like,
you be like, I don't give a fuck.
I don't give a fuck.
And then you hit 55 and it's really like,
yeah. But if you can hit that before 50, whoo, baby, life was life changing. Yeah. But even before that, you have to live in your own truth, because what I found out before the fuck bucks is if you try to people please everybody, you still aren't pleasing everybody. No. And then when it falls apart, you're the one that has to deal with it, not that person. Right. So you follow their advice, their advice, their advice. It don't work out. You're the one that's got to clean up the shit. Mm-hmm. And it ain't the shit you wanted to do. And then I rebelled. I will say this. So then I stopped listening to people, and then I rebelled and did it my way. And people are like, well, why are you doing this? I said, because I wanted to do it my way. It still was shit, but it was my shit. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and then I was like, but now I'm just rebelling and doing stupid shit because I want to. So then it was like, stop. Mm-hmm. How about you sit with yourself and figure out what you want? Mm-hmm. And love yourself. Yeah. And that meant taking the time to get to know what I want, how I want. And if it doesn't line up, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Mm-hmm. If it looks like a duck, but walks like a chicken and pecks like a chicken, it ain't a duck.
It's a ducking.
Ducking.
Right. And there's too many people. And I'm going to tell you right now, there's too many people sharing. And that's why I said I don't share. There are too many people sharing people.
Yeah.
And I don't want to share. Or if we're sharing, then let's discuss it. We're going to be in an open relationship. Then we are in an open relationship.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not going to be in an open relationship. And I'm over here being, hell no. Because that's happened. Because I was like, in the relationship, I was like, so, well, what about, okay, so fine. You're going to go out, but I got to stay at home. Well, can I go out? No. Well, how about I talk to the phone with other people like you talking on the phone? Hell no.
Wow.
That don't make no sense.
Not at all. No.
That don't make no damn sense.
Not at all.
Well, I'd be worried you be doing this, this, and this. Well, that's what you doing. Well, if you're going to do it, I'm going to do it. Because that's how I am. You're going to do it, I'm going to do it. Mm-hmm. So if you don't want me to do it, don't you do it. If you don't have issues with it, then what the fuck are we doing? Mm-hmm. Grow up. Then why are we here? So
true. Yeah.
So that's why I said get to know people, because the thing about it is people present to you their PR person. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Their fake person, their public relations person where they look all perfect and they act the way they want. Mm-hmm. And the funny thing about it is we as people who are starving for love will tell them everything that they want to know to be the perfect person. And we don't realize that. And that's what I did wrong.
Yep. Hence, that's one of the reasons why I always suggest the 2-month rule.
But it's not even the 2-month rule. Add to that. Don't tell them about why your past relationships failed. Don't tell them anything about your past
relationships. You don't have to do that, but I'm just saying.
No, I'm saying, but
it weeds out a lot of people.
But I'm just saying, even then, I don't tell people why my past relationships failed. I don't tell them I'm not telling them what I'm looking for in a partner. I'm telling them ish, because they use that to pretend to be what they think I want. Mm-hmm. And people can fake it for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then you think that they're this, oh my God, they're so amazing. And then they're not who they really are. Mm-hmm. But listen to what they tell you. Because if he tells you, yeah, I did this to my ex, please don't think he won't do that ish to you. Mm-hmm. You're special, but he'll do that ish to you.
Yep.
Yeah. And if he starts doing some strange behavior, like spitting on cars and like, because he's mad.
Spitting on cars?
Yes, I had an ex too. I had someone I was with, he would get mad and he would,
oh.
And I was like, he had rage behavior and I dismissed it. I should not have, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. Pay attention to the red flags. Mm-hmm. Pay attention to the red flags.
I did not. I was like, I excused it. I excused it. Mm-hmm. I excused it. I was like, oh no.
Yes.
So that's why I said, for me now, please, like I said, y'all know that business dinner I went out to, and he's over here talking and talking and talking. I was like, okay, well, red flag, red flag, red flag. End of the night, he sure did think he was gonna get some. I was like, dropped him back right on off.
He's like, what?
Drove right on off. He sure was like, I looked up and you didn't even look up. I was like, he was surprised. Surprise, surprise, surprise. No, baby.
Surprise, surprise. Exactly.
So no. And I mean, eventually my king will come.
Yeah.
Yep. It definitely.
Yep.
So, but until then, I love my own company, and I have traveled the world and will keep traveling and doing my own thing and having a blast doing it.
Celebrating all them grandbabies.
And when I get lonely, I have my toys.
Oh,
oh boy.
Anyway, do you have any other questions, babe? Anything else you want to?
Oh, and lastly, what I will say,
yes,
is for those people who are single, and I don't just mean women too, men,
right.
non-binary, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Is your life ready for a partner?
Yeah.
Because if your life is not ready for a partner, meaning, do you have space in your life?
There you go.
Are you too busy for a partner? Are you like, if you were to, like, my spot is too small for someone to come live with me.
Mm-hmm.
But are you really open? Do you really have space in your life for a partner?
Wow. Yeah.
Because a lot of times we say we want one, but we don't have the space all the time.
Yeah.
We're so focused on work. We're working 60 hours a week. You ain't got time for a partner.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did, that wouldn't be fair to that person.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you have to really be, if that's what you really want, then prepare your, like right now, y'all two know my house has been a hot wreck. Because I've been focused on my art. I get in the zone and I looked around, I was like, if I was to go out and meet somebody and it was like, yeah, let's go back to your house and just have conversation because I know I can control myself. I was like, I can't bring them back to my house. Can you come in 3 days? To clean my house. I'm just saying. I was like, I need to clean my house. And that hit me. I was like, I need to prepare myself so that if I met someone, I could be like, sure, come over.
Mm-hmm. You had him walk in there and be like, what?
I can't be with you. You're a hot mess. You too messy. You need, because that's not naturally who I am. But I've been living single. Like, I don't care. And
trust me, women, we men, we do look at all that.
But women look at it too. We do look at it. We look at it too. We like,
oh, I know. Look,
I told my brother, I was like, what the hell? So are you living like you are ready for a partner? If you were to invite someone over today, is it someplace that you would be wanting to bring them to be?
Yeah.
If it's a home that you want someone to live, I know I wouldn't bring, like I said, do you have the time for them?
Right.
That one right there.
Exactly.
Are you able, what do you have to bring to the table?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So.
Exactly.
Do the work. And vibrate. And like I said, create the list for what you want and be really specific. So.
Okay.
One last thing, all that beautiful art behind you, if folks want to check out some of your artwork, where can they look? Where can they find you?
Colorblindbynani.me is my website, and colorblind is the blind is spelled with a Y instead of an I.
We'll put it also in this
thing. And then if they're in the Bay Area, a lot of my art is at Ethnic Notions Art Gallery in Vallejo.
Okay. We will get those in the discussion notes for folks who want to check it out.
Because this is my old art. This is 3 years old.
Her
I
art is fabulous.
have evolved beyond even this, I have to say.
She
Yeah.
has.
Yep.
She has. All right, baby.
And I'm gonna put a plug. 1111 is my own art show, and there will be a piece featuring those two.
Okay.
Yeah, and I should have at least a portion of. No, I should have and my book will be done. Not a.
Your book will be done.
It will be done.
We're gonna speak that into existence.
It
That's
better be done.
I know.
If not, it's gonna be done.
It's gonna be done. So thank you, my love. It's been a pleasure having you on. We will be having you on again because we got another hot topic.
Oh, absolutely. I guess we can't speak the way him and I speak, so we'll be nice.
Yeah, we sure can. No, that's a whole another show. That's another.
It's for the show.
That's a sitcom.
Yeah, we didn't do our own sitcom where we can warn people. It's peace. It's spread it out. Love you guys.
Love you
Love you
too.
too. So we'd love to hear your opinion on this topic. So please leave comments. And please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Hit the notification button so you can see our new videos. Some of our new videos that'll be coming up, other than this one, will be the introduction to us. It's going to be our story and why we're doing what we do, and then expectations in relationships. So please stay tuned for those. We're working on them, and we'll have them out relatively soon. So thank you again for showing support and watching us, and just and subscribing to our channel.
Subscribing to our channel.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
Oh, that was yours, huh? I thought that was my ring.
No, it's Jasmine telling me she
Is it
come
still
finally
recording?
coming.
Recording.